So I'd like to start today's broadcast with a welcome to all of you who are joining us either here live on Zoom or for a later broadcast. And we're doing this as kind of a culmination of a lot of different things that have transpired over the last year. One of those was the EarthStock Summit in Crestone, Colorado in August, which was also the beginning of inviting the voices of various wisdom keepers, traditional wisdom carriers, to come together in council to offer advisorship to this spiritual gathering. And also, the Grandmothers Council, which also started to form at that time, and we're really honored to have members of both of those councils here with us today as part of the broadcast. And also, as many blessings as there was this year, it's also been a time heavily plagued with various earth changes that have been happening. I know they've been very challenging for many people there around the world. Of course, we work with people in Acapulco, and we know that they've suffered under several hurricanes. Also in Asheville, North Carolina, the recent hurricane that happened there, and actually Grandmother Gail Thomas, who's going to do our opening with SD Youngwolf in a moment, was actually directly affected by the hurricane there. So we're glad to have her here and online and safe, continuing to bring her traditional wisdom and insights and knowledge to this event and to the Grandmother and the Wisdom Council. And but there's many people who are joining us today. I wanted to acknowledge again Grandmother Gail and SD Youngwolf. We wanted to acknowledge our brother Hector Benton from Ancestrales Naciones in Mexico. We'll also be joined later on, potentially with Marcelo from Bolivia. We also have Mitzi Clementina Batista here. We have we're blessed today with some great music from our sister Katya Beloved, who's in Mount Shasta. So not only today is this a coming together of voices and people in honor of this day today of winter solstice, this long dark night in the northern hemisphere, but also the returning of the light. But it's an honoring of an ongoing commitment that many of us have to come together and counsel and share insights and wisdom and dreams and music, song, prayers, and stories to help build community. I also want to acknowledge, I see that Marcia is here from Nevada City, California, and many others will be joining us today. And but we want to get the broadcast started. This is a day not of just infomercials and commercials and telling everyone what we're doing and what we're selling and all these things, but most importantly, just a day of authentic humanity, of being with a time of sharing stories and again songs and prayers to help inspire each other and inspire you and raise the frequency of all the incredible transformation and earth changes that are happening on the planet. So I want to open up our presentation today and our sacred gathering with Grandmother Gail Thomas and SD Youngwolf, who's joining us from another sacred place from Taos, New Mexico. So welcome one and all. And with that, I welcome Gail and SD.
Thank you, Michael. I'm so happy to be gathering in community today. This is what it is for me. It's coming together with the people that have a foundation of community. And so many of us have developed that over the past year, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you for acknowledging the community that we build together. And Esther Youngwood and I would like to sing our traditional Cherokee song for protection for the coming season, year. We're going to sing that together. Zoom will let us. Whenever you're ready, Esther.
Can you hear the drum?
Sounds great. Thank you. Yeah.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
Wahige gohi, wahige gohi, wahige gohi, wahige gohi, watatila hatiye, watatila, watatila, watatila hatiye, wahige gohi, wahige gohi. Wahige gohi, wahige gohi, watatila hatiye, watatila, watatila, watatila hatiye, wahige gohi, wahige gohi, wahige gohi, wahige gohi, watatila hatiye, watatila, watatila, watatila hatiye, wahige gohi, wahige gohi, wahige gohi, wahige gohi, watatila hatiye, watatila, watatila, watatila hatiye.
Thank you so much, Esty, for joining me and for all of you for joining in our traditional medicine song for protection. In the coming time after the turning of the sun, and I would like to call in the north. This is the time of the year that we say goodnight to the bears and we call in the buffalo and the ancestors who sit in the north. And the bears actually brought me this calling a few years ago at this time of the year. So join me in calling in the energies of the north. We call in the north with a shiver, movement, merging towards dismemberment, only for renewal. We embrace the north with the flesh of our bodies, swaddling the spirit of our bones. Waziata tatanka oyata kile ate oyata kile unshimaka wakantanka unshimalaye doni pikte lo. In Lakota, we honor the buffalo tatanka, sacred buffalo nation, and the mother, grandmother earth, Unshimaka, and Wakantanka, our teachers in the higher realms. And we do this because we want to live with these influences and with these connections in our lives. In our Salagi language, Ludohi Nunata, Ludohi, Gali Iliga, Osada. With peaceful serenity in this life, we are grateful as it is. So thank you all for joining me in this invitation to the north, to the buffalo, to the ancestors at this time. And thank you, Michael, for bringing us all together here in community and bringing us together in the Wisdom Council and in the Grandmother's Council over the past year, and allowing us to be community and to share in these ways and honor the earth energies in these traditional ways. And I'll pass the mic back to my Salagi brother SD at this time in Taos, New Mexico, for anything that he would like to add at this time or share.
Oceanagada. I'm SD Young Wolf, Salagi and the Dagi tribe, Wolf Clan. I'm in Taos, New Mexico, a traditional land of the Tiwa people, between the what was called the Rio Grande River and Taos Mountain. It's very good that we come together in this way to observe and honor this time, winter solstice, which our peoples worldwide celebrate at this time. In our Tsalagi tradition, we say that on this day the bears gather in a big cave and they celebrate and they dance and they make offerings to Mother Earth. So I have a story. Would this be a good time to tell the story? Go higi anjike-san. Long, long time ago, they say. The world was not as it is now. The Creator made the heaven and earth and put the stars in the sky, the sun and the moon, and all was in balance. But at that time, there was day and night, but they were equal. Equal day, equal night. The sun would rise in the morning, go across the horizon, go down. Every day, it was the same time. As time went on, and the people became very discontent because they did not like the night. They would bump into each other. They would trip and fall. And they would lose things that they couldn't find. And so they came together and they said, this night, we don't need that. So they called Creator. At that time, they could talk. Everyone talked directly to Creator. Creator, this night we have is time of darkness. We don't like it. We would like for it to be day all the time. The Creator said, are you sure? Is that really what you want? Yes, we want it that way. He said, okay, you ask for it. It'll be that way. Well, from then on, there was no night. And at first, the people were very happy. But as time went on, all the weeds that grew, all the vegetation that grew more and more, too much. The days became hotter and hotter. People didn't have any energy to get around and do the things they wanted to do. They were exhausted from the heat. And so, once again, they came together and they said, this was a mistake. This was maybe not the best thing to have day all the time. Look how hot it's gotten and people are suffering. So they called on Creator. So we're very sorry. I think we made a mistake. This day being all the time daylight, it's too much. So we realize our mistake, but we realize now what we need is the night. Let it be night all the time. Once again, the Creator said, really? Is that what you want? I said, yes, yes. They were so tired of all the heat that when the night came, that coolness, they all felt refreshed for a while. They were glad to have the coolness. But as time went on, it got colder and colder and colder because there was no light shining on the earth. It became very, very cold ice covering everything, people freezing. So once again, they came together. They said, Creator, well, we realized our mistake. It was right the way it was in the beginning with day and night. We need the day and we need the night. We realize now that's the balance in the world that is needed. And the Creator said, okay, I will grant that. Except it's not going to be the way it was in the beginning. Now that it's changed like this, you'll have day and night, but they're not going to be equal. And so that's why today is winter solstice, the longest night and shortest day. In the spring, we'll have the equinox with equal day and night. In the summer, we'll have the summer solstice, longest day, shortest night. Once again, in the fall, it will be equal. So only 2 times of the year, 2 days, will there be equal day, equal night, like it was in the beginning. And so that's the way it is today. But the Creator told them, because the way things were, and that long, cold night, people not only suffered, many people died because of your request. You wanted it that way. So I'm going to create this tree. It's called a cedar tree. That'll be a sacred tree. You can pray with that tree, with the green of that tree. And in the middle of that tree, there will be a red grain that will represent the blood, the lives of your ancestors and those that perished in the cold. So whenever you use that, and they used that cedar wood for making sacred things, so that red vein there, that would be a reminder. Remember and honor your ancestors. And it will also remind you, be careful what you ask for. That's all. Skiwi Nagaa.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Esty. It's so interesting, when we had talked about during our weekly grandmother council and our wisdom council, we talked about, that these councils are very inward. It's a very small group of people who are really committed to being able to go deeper and talk about things that have substance and matter, not just as a fleeting inspiration or as a distraction, but really sitting together and sharing wisdom, hearing the voice of the grandmothers, and the follow through that comes with building, allowing these councils to build. So I know when we talked about that, I knew I'd be in California, where another one of our participants from the Grandmother Council, Marcia, is here. And I plan on being up on the land that I steward. And I will say right now, I'm in the Sacramento River watershed, particularly in the Yuba River basin, in the traditional lands of the Nisinan people, which also border the Maidu lands. And to the east, we have the Washoe lands going up towards Lake Tahoe. So I planned on spending this important day up on the land and at the medicine wheel and having a big bonfire. But like you were saying, especially now, it seems like we plan, we architect, we have visions, there's things we want to do, but nature and spirit sometimes has a different plan. And the ability to see the wisdom in nature, to see the wisdom in cycles, some people call it biomimicry, when we look for the lessons and the teachings in nature and the cycles and the elements, has become such an important theme this year, and kind of surrendering our some of our human folly of how we perceive things, how we our perception works, and even sometimes how our understanding works in a limited way. I also just want to acknowledge, I know more people are coming in. I want to acknowledge Lenny, who is joined us from Canada, and I'll let Gail introduce him. I just met him recently, but we're really honored to have your presence and representation for traditional wisdom that you carry. So thank you for that. So the idea today, again, was stories and songs, ceremony and music. And I wanted to go over, we have our brother Hector from Mexico here on the call. I want to introduce him in a moment. He's a amazing brother of medicine and vision, and very connected to his ancestral work there in Mexico. But I will say it feels appropriate. There he is. All right, welcome, brother. So I want to, before we go to Hector, we have the benefit of connecting many powerful places, and I know that this has also been an important part of the work. As we work with the earth energies, we work with our ancestors and the elemental energy, but we have people here, again, Grandmother Gail from Asheville, North Carolina, really just surviving that hurricane, that earth change that happened there. We have our SD and Taos, and many others who will introduce himself, but I want to introduce my sister, Katya Beloved, who is with us today from Mount Shasta. She was willing to come on and share a song before we go over to Mexico. It feels right that we want to continue to also honor the feminine and not always, look at things in the colonial or the patriarchal way that's really plagued society for so many ways. So with that, if you're ready, Katya, would love to have you share your song, and if you want to share a few words, and then we'll go over to our brother Hector. And again, thank you for joining us today, Hector.
Thank you. Such a blessing and honor to be here from Mount Shasta, the crown chakra of the world, the crown chakra of Lumeria, home of the subterranean city of Telos, which you may know is fifth dimensional, and where Lumerians went when Lumerian Atlantis sank. And there's 1.5 million of them in here. So this is really a international destination place for, spiritual seekers. And it certainly has a profound high frequency here, being the vortex that it is, and also with the violet flame that was put in the mountain by Saint Germain in 1930. And the violet flame transmutes, dissolves, consumes everything that doesn't serve our highest good, ascension, and freedom. So I have a lot of songs about the violet flame, but I don't know, I wasn't thinking I would sing one of those. This is the one that came through, and it was inspired by the teachings of the Ascended Masters. Those books, the first book, Unveiled Mysteries, was written here about Mount Shasta and Panther Meadow. And if you've never been there, it's a gorgeous, beautiful meadow with a spring that supposedly the water is from like 500 years. And also we have the headwaters here, which is the head spring of the Sacramento River. So we have people come here all the time for that, and just many ceremonies. There's really every path of life, every walk of life is here to have meditations and There are spiritual practices here, which is wonderful. So I'm just so blessed and honored to be here. I do healing work. I have a massage table behind you all there, and I get to touch a lot of people, especially people it's their first time. So I feel very blessed and honored to be kind of a gatekeeper here. And I've played many shows and done many songs. And I have 5 albums on Spotify, and I'm just gonna share a very simple one. And these words were, like I said, inspired from the teachings of the Ascended Masters with my own words. I think I wrote it in Maui when I lived in Maui, which was also part of Lemuria. So I hope you can hear me okay. Blessings to all from the light. You are the light of the world. You are the light that you seek. Seek and you shall find. All is within. Seek and you shall find. All is within. My heart arches to God. My heart arches to God. My heart arches to God. That I am He. Pour your light through me. That I am He. Purify me, that you and I are one. Purify, that we are one. That I am ascended and free. That I am ascended and free. Blessings to all from the light that I am. God's perfection. Seal me in the presence of pure divine love that I am. In service to the light that I am. In service to the light. I forgive myself, though I forgive all that I am. Free to be loved. May I always know the love and light of God, the light of God that never fails, the love of God that we are born from. Thank you. Sending my deepest love and peace and love is going to prevail on this planet. The love and light always wins. So we are victorious. Aho, so be it.
Oh,
Thank you,
and
Michael.
thank you. And it's great to have you here too. We were talking on our council this week about also Mount Shasta area is one of the places where there's been one of the indigenous land back successes back to the Winnemem and the Wintu people who
Yeah.
got back some of their ancestral lands. So definitely a beautiful, sacred place. And thank you for joining us today and sharing your music and your voice.
I'm
And
so grateful.
and representing the voice of the feminine. And you know, whenever I hear you sing, and there's other people we've worked with over the years, women, that it's just you feel that energy of the white buffalo, the calf woman, that sacred feminine coming through. So thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
his brother Hector here, all the way, I don't know where he's somewhere in Mexico. We're not sure what part. He travels a lot. But we want to welcome our brother Hector Benton from Naciones Ancestrales to come and to share with us here. I think your mic is off, Hector.
How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
We hear you now.
Okay. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. I appreciate again and another time the unification of our souls and our spirits to see and be and make the situations happen. So for me, it's a pleasure to keep being in the path with you guys, with you brothers, with you sisters. So we're here in Mexico trying and making happen one of the prophecies, one of many, buffalo, the white buffalo, the prophecies of the condor, the eagle, and the quetzal, the situation of the prophecy of the raven warriors, the prophecy of the sacred medicine men who are coming up from different ways and they're getting together in Mexico. So we are witnesses of these paths who are getting together. And in my personal path, I'm being really surprised how Mexico is moving all the situations for the sacred lands and for the defending of the rights of the indigenous communities trying to have its own sovereignty. So now that we understand that the great spirit and the great mystery is taking us to the way in where we have to unite all the way up from Alaska to all the way down from Chile and, to the east and the west too, Europe, Africa, and all the different islands around the world. We have to be in one together. We know that the Great Spirit is telling us, get your brothers all over around, different colors to help each others and make it sure that you guys are united in the right way. Not with protagonisms or egocentricity, with the way in where we can confederate ourselves in a unification of nations. So I do believe that I'm on the right path with you, brothers and sisters. And I do believe in my great spirit and the great mystery that they're telling us what to do in these situations. So for me, it's honor to keep being a guardian of ancestral medicines and plant medicines in Mexico and keep teaching my students and the people who wants to come in Mexico and learn about the culture and the cosmovision. For us, it's a pleasure to start opening those ecotouristies and health tourist doors through Mexico and all over around the jungle. So now is the time for us to see each other's and again to make it sure where we're going, where we come from, where we at right now. So again, for me, brothers and sisters, it's a pleasure to be in this path, walking together, learning from myself and from all of you guys. And as you know, we are for one simple reason, one situation that unites all of us in consciences, because Mother Nature is putting us together as a wisdom keepers, as a people of wisdom, and tribes who are trying to protect our cultures. But our Mother of Nature is the one who are putting our hearts together. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you. I hope. Your microphone is off, Michael.
Would you be willing to share one of your medicine songs? I always enjoy when you sing. You bring a lot of thunder.
Of course, of course. But this time we're celebrating. We're celebrating these situations of the sun and the movement and everything. So we know that the power of the water is the one who go around our body, and the power of the water is the one that is unificating the nations. The water is around the islands, and the water is around the lands. So the water is the one who's going to unificate all this situation. So for me, And my elders, Ami Menoaya, is a sacred song who give us the way to control that power in a lovely way. Because our songs, our sacred songs, they're teaching to the kids and the new generations how to control that energy that we have from the nature. So Ami Menoaya is one of the songs that I really want to love to share with you, brothers. If I sing it one time, it's because you have to listen. If I sing it twice, it's because you have to learn it. If I sing it three times, it's because it's yours, belongs to you. If I sing it four times, it's because I activate the powers of the sacred words of these songs and belongs to everybody. Ami meno ya, ami metano kya, ami metano kya, mantique ya, ami meno gyama. Ami meno ya, ami metano kya, ami metano kya, mantique ya, ami meno yama, ami meno ya. Ami metano kya, ami metano kya, mantique, ami meno yama, ami meno aya, ami metano kya. Ami metano kya, mantiquequeya, ami menongyama. Ahati, Menoaya, the power of the water, power, the energy to unite everything, control the energy of the water. We have to control our emotions. Then we share with others. And then we teach others. And then we heal others. Hatipi to let me share the knowledge from my tribes and the songs. They're dying, and not too many people know. So now through this wisdom and through these brothers and sisters that I call family from different ways, let's put the things together. I'm announcing you, brothers and sisters, that here in Mexico we're moving together. All of you guys know Yellow Beer and Patricio, and we are confederating a confederation in Mexico with different nations to get all of them together, not to be one principal or one leader. Everybody can be in the same circle. So we want to build it through the Mexican laws, and we want to build it through the Mexican indigenous sovereignty. And of course, that we want to build this together, to learn from each other's and be available to do intercultural changes and free treatments and free treats around the world, to be together with a sustainable economy through indigenous communities, and be learning by the way that they teach us, mount to mount, elders to elders. So I'm here because you, brothers. I am because you are. Ahatip.
Thank you. And with that, we'll pass the feather to our sister, Mitzi Clementina Bautista. So welcome, Mitzi. I think your microphone might be off, Mitzi.
Thank you. I think I needed permission to do that. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And thank you to EarthStock for having me here. And I just wanted to extend my gratitude to Brother Hector. His words were so powerful. I've been following his work, and he's also like a dear friend of Adriana, who I have been working with on some projects to really just advance advance the recovery of the land and to really bring to fruition some of the prophecies that have been floating around. Like Michael said, my name is Mitzi Clementina. My tradition is Quechua Aymara, but I live here in the United States in the Hudson Valley area. And so I like to honor the ancient guardians of this land who were the Melsenga, who were the Wappingers, the Lenape. Really, there were so many guardians that moved through this beautiful territory. Yesterday, I had the honor to hear some words from Chief Elaine talking about how important this time is. For some of us, it's the winter solstice, and in my tradition, I have many family members that are honoring the summer solstice, the Kaipak Rami, and it kind of really brings to light that as a global family, we are this duality, this complementary of one another, where some of us are welcoming the light, others are welcoming the darkness to come in, and for us to really sit with that. And so I want to honor that sense of duality that just exists between all of us, that feminine and that masculine. And I believe it was actually here in the EarthStock space and in August that I got to hear that in some traditions the sun is a feminine energy. For us in the Quechua Aymara, the sun is a masculine energy, but really something about that planted a seed within me to really just deepen that sense of duality that lives within us all. These times are really important, and I think that we're all living seeds, bright seeds of that. I honor all of the grandfathers and grandmothers that are here that have been holding on to this wisdom and have been working very hard. I think that these times have created some chaos, and I know that it has been very difficult times for our brothers and sisters and for our grandfathers and grandmothers, and I just want to honor their fight and honor their long journey. Something else that Chief Elaine mentioned was for us to really look at the chaos of this time with a different lens, to look at the chaos of this time as something necessary, because we are all part of this new paradigm that is coming in. And when a new paradigm comes in, the old is just like any living being. It fights to live and it fights to survive, and will grasp real desperately to do that. And I think for many of us, we are witnessing what that looks like here within our systems. But I also love the idea of what our brother Hector is sharing, how there is really just so much movement that is happening in other spaces. And so I want to honor all of that. And for us here in the Northern Hemisphere, I honor the darkness that is joining us. And that no matter where we walk, all of us sacred walkers, this is a beautiful time for us to really go within and to reflect with that darkness and to sit with it, to not fear it, and to have those bright seeds replanted so that there can be this transformation that can take root, because it is only in the darkest of days, it is only in the darkest of soils where there can be the nutrients to allow for a transformation to take root. And I think each of us here, whether we are here live or whether we are catching this at another time, I want to offer this song in Quechua as a way for us to remind ourselves to do that sacred work for ourselves, to welcome the darkness, to embrace those parts of ourselves that we have not yet embraced, and that there is no moment in our life where that work is done. Because what lays before us is a new paradigm for a new humanity that we are all a part of here and now, that we are all sacred and chosen to be here at this particular time, that it requires all of us to really be joining for this, to move us in that evolutionary phase from Homo sapien to Homo luminous. And so with that, I'm going to offer this song in Quechua. It essentially says that my healing is your healing is my healing, and that when we heal one another and we heal ourselves, then and only then can the earth be healed, can humanity be healed. I'm welcoming in all of the elements to help us during this phase: the earth, the water, the air, and the fire. I hope that with this song, whoever's listening to this, that this will plant a seed, a bright seed for transformation, so that our work can continue, so that we may continue protected, so that we may continue moving towards the luminous human species that we all consider to be our birthright. Thank you. Shanin, oh, 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 kapak, kalia shanin, oh, 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 kapak. Panay pimihaya kunino kahenada Nuha watu kunian shamunaito Panay pimihaya kunino kahenada Nuha watu kuni Nuha watu kunian shamunaito Nuhakani alpa nuhakani yaku nuhakani waira nuhakani nina nuhakani alpa nuhakani yaku nuhakani waira nuhakani nina Taita inti mama inti Mai pikanki Iyayachu Anyay anyay Hayaya. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. So with that, I'm going to ask the Feather. We met just recently, but he brings a lot of wisdom and medicine to our council last week and has showed up today, and we want to welcome Lenny. But if Gail, Grandmother Gail, would introduce him, that would be wonderful.
Yes, thank you, Michael. I'm happy to introduce Lenny as much as I can do that. He's coming to us from the Bear River area of Nova Scotia, and he brings a very active ceremony practice. He is a sun dancer, and he is almost every weekend, very frequently in a Nipikaga or sweat lodge ceremony. I know they use different words in different languages for the ceremony that he does and the practice that he holds. So I will defer to him on that and welcome Lenny to our Wisdom Council and to our gathering today at this time. And Pamela, if you will ask him to unmute, that'd be great.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here and to listen to these ancestral songs and heartfelt songs, and to the passion that everyone who's spoken brings to, just keeping what's traditional and my heart to what's right in the world here, and working towards to acknowledge that, and just to give thanks for that, and to carry it with them, and to share that with others and their teachings. And that's what's important here, to do that. And it's interesting because I was supposed to be in Lodge today, and one would not have been here, but Mother Nature always has its own say in things. And as I'm speaking, we have 10 inches of snow out there that wasn't there yesterday. And it's so beautiful. So, my day changed from going to Lodge and saying prayers to taking a little walk in my woods here down through the snow and being reminded that, you know, sometimes we have this linear path where we think things are going to go this way, but it isn't linear, it's circular. And that's what Solstice reminds us of, that, you know, things are a circular pattern, and that, you know, the circle comes back and it's like a spiral. So I just ended up going down and walking to my little brook, and, you know, the snow is water coming down, it's moisture, and the water was tumbling, and it's a place that's sacred to me. I just go down and said prayers to my ancestors and give thanks for them. Here it's a time, you know, like the sun is here in the north. It's going to be tomorrow, it's going to be a little more sunlight, but it's really just the beginning of winter here. Like, the snow is here. We'll have snow for the next probably couple of months, though these days with the changing environment, you never know what you're going to get. But normally we'll have snow for the next few months. It's also the time the bear, it's when the bear goes into hibernation here, and when the bear goes into the den. And it really felt like it today, because when you see the snow on the ground and this beautiful blanket just covering everything, and the only tracks out there are the animal tracks, it really brings to heart how really connected we are to things if we just take that quiet moment to walk in the environment and snow or whatever is outside our door. And so it was really quite a powerful reminder, and it's so beautiful because, you know, it's a time of dream time. It's a time when we, you know, traditionally tell songs and have a lot of quiet time to reflect on things. And that's what the solstice is up here and heralds in for us. As we have a little bit more daylight each day, we also have that quiet time of reflection. So I'm new here, and I look forward to sharing and hearing the stories that I've heard so far, and can look forward to hearing those that come forward. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, and deep gratitude for your presence. I think that's one of the things, you know, we live in a world of so many things, right? I, very briefly, a personal story, I chose to move from California to Crestone, Colorado 4 years ago. It was just about the summer of 2020, and here in California, everything was closing down because of the pandemic. But even though I walked away from all the things I was doing here as far as watershed restoration and protection, and working with some of the indigenous communities there, and starting a community center and trying to get Californians to care about water, clean water, not privatized water, it really turned out to be an amazing opportunity to move up into the high mountains of Colorado and really remember just the profound fulfillment that comes from the simplicity of just being with the self and with nature and not a lot of things. So one of the things I really appreciate with the weekly grandmother and wisdom council and some of the events that we do is the community of people who are very authentic, very committed, very real and down to earth, and walk their talk. They walk their medicine. So it's been great to meet you, and also just to continue to have these opportunities to have these connections. Now I spend a lot of time watching clouds and listening to birds, and not doing too many worldly things, but it's nice that we do have this technology to connect with each other. I also want to just kind of parlay that into our conversation with the Wisdom Council this week. We were talking about some of the concepts of sovereignty, spiritual sovereignty, land stewardship, a lot of these concepts we are talking about possibly in the future, having discussions about decolonization, whether that's of the mind or of the land. But I want to use that as an opportunity to introduce Marcia Willardson, who's going to present next. Marcia is a great friend and has been a neighbor here in the Grass Valley, Nevada City, Nisenan, Maidu lands, the Yuba and the Bear Rivers. Amazing. The Yuba River has been one of the only undammed rivers in this part of of North America in the States. And recently, the Klamath tribe actually just got their dam removed up there in Northern California. And literally a few days ago was the first time a salmon was able to go the entire length of the Klamath River in its natural habitat and return to the sea. So a lot of amazing things happening. But I wanted to introduce Marcia, who does a lot of amazing work, excuse me, around sovereignty and is very involved in a lot of different areas. And like to ask her to take the feather and present here for our winter solstice gathering. So welcome, Marcia. I think your microphone is off, Marcia.
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah, your volume is very low. I don't know if you're far away from the phone.
Is that better?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Well, in many ways, having been raised in the culture, in the Western mind culture, what I am so appreciative, and I see, because at the time when we have the least amount of sunlight in the Northern Hemisphere, and we see in a lot of ways how in our culture because of the lack of the sunlight, the lack of the vitamin C, there is a tendency in our culture to entertain depressions or deep darkness in ourselves. And out of the EarthStock Summit, I I feel like I'm very much reborn into the heart of the indigenous culture. Over 30 years ago, I was adopted by a person who I befriended into the Chippewa culture. And I feel like now I'm just being born into the heart of the culture, into the heart of the rituals. I learned so much from the dancing and the singing and how that really resonates out into the world, into the creation of what we're making. And that in some of the cultures, as the dances were reawakening the first foods, were reawakening the salmon. It says the salmon just went upstream for the first time. So as we sing and bring our rituals forward, we reawaken the earth and we reawaken ourselves to the light that we are in the perceived density of the lack of light. And in many cultures, so what I did is I looked to see how is this solstice celebrated, not just in the indigenous and in the Hopis with their dances, and they're bringing the kachinas in, but coming together with the songs and the vibrations of the community, where we actually have a support in the density of those winter blues, in the density of the lack in many places of the live foods that we get during the summertime, and that what that brings to us, and how many of that, what I was really shocked by in the indigenous culture, in the Yule culture of Northern Europe, and in the cultures of of the indigenous. And in Japan, in Afghanistan, in all over the world, the cultures were about the reawakening, the bringing together of the life. And Southern Hemisphere, the celebration of the fullness of the sun. And then looking at what the Roman Empire, and understanding that a lot of the Roman superimposition of the Roman influence has really become a major effect of the winter solstice time being absorbed into Christmas, and having that be about big parties and big food and lots of alcohol, how that has really kind of shadowed and overshadowed the heart of what the indigenous culture really brings. And we call it the imperial, as a, whatever that is, but I see, going back to the absorption of this solstice time into Christmas and honoring it, like the Saturnia and the Roman gods, and that drink till they fall over, that kind of shadow that has really created itself as a context for this time of year, that I really so appreciate being born into the frequencies and the vibrations of the song and the prayer and the coming that darkness, like our beloved brother SD says, is that we created the imbalance, and we come together to balance ourselves in that frequency. And how valuable, how much value there is in the songs and in the frequencies that we're really bringing out, because they do manifest into form. They do bring us through this in a loving manner. And in Africa, they have the Ubuntu, where we bring so much love into the circle, that we carry ourselves into the next phase, into the light. We bring the light forward through our songs and our dance and our own frequency. That is so prevalent in any of the solstice rituals that I've seen all over the planet, with the Midsummer's Day and the South American Inti celebrations, the Soyala, the Tuhopis, the Toji, and the Japanese. They're all about coming together and dancing to bring us through the darkest time that we're going to experience through the year, or the lightest time in the southern hemisphere, celebrating that as a culture, carrying all of us and all of the planet to the next manifestation. And what I consider, and I feel very much, that I'm being reborn to from that Saturnian influence. And I'm so grateful to be here. And I'm so grateful that our cultures are coming together in such a powerful conversation and bringing wisdom in so many areas. Gratitude being one of the major energies that carries me so much through this, and my rebirth, my relearning.
Great. Thank you so much. It's always good to see you, Marcia. I know we talked about being up at the land today at the wheel, but of course, once again, nature had a different plan. So we're here dry and warm, not out in the cold rain and snow. And I do want to just mention, I know we're staying focused on solstice today, but we had a really powerful conversation, and Lenny's has attended the last council. We got into a big discussion about decolonization of the mind and of land and sovereignty and stuff. So at some point, we're talking about coming around full circle. And I know we had our sovereignty call with you and Chief Phil and John Cipolla and some others, but it definitely is a topic that's very prevalent and important that would love to re-explore with you. And I always love that you come at things from a spiritual perspective as opposed to just, a legal perspective or a political perspective, although sometimes those are, part of the mix of the matrix of how some of us have kind of fallen and lost our vision uh, of our real true nature of sovereignty and land stewardship and our connection to nature and also to each other. So I wanted to just go back. I want to go back to Grandmother Gail Thomas just in a moment, but I also wanted to acknowledge, we plan and the universe laughs. We had communicated with Uncle Angengak from Greenland, who is an elder from that region, another wisdom carrier, who is going to be with us today. He actually just flew into Florida, and he had messaged that he won't be able to make it. And also our brother Marcelo, here comes Becky Big Canoe from Canada. But our brother Marcelo Zaiduni, who is now in Bolivia, who is another person of medicine and wisdom person, and he had messaged just a little while ago. He's still attending some of their summer solstice ceremonies. So I just wanted to acknowledge them. They're very much with us in spirit. And again, this ongoing weekly council of grandmothers and the Wisdom Council has been very essential way of just bringing real authentic sharing and wisdom forward. And we will continue to do so even beyond our winter solstice celebration today. So with that, I'd like to invite back again Grandmother Gail Thomas, and then we want to welcome Becky Big Canoe. We've had some stories and songs and sharings, and we're glad that you could be here to join us. We have some new members here and some people coming and going, but again, back to Grandmother Gail Thomas and Becky. So I'll pass the feather.
Thank you, Michael. Would you like to dance at this time, or would you like for Becky to bring in her fire and add the fire element before or after we dance?
Well, if Becky has a few minutes, I know sometimes a lot of talking can get intense, and you prepared a really beautiful video of music and images. Kind of keep it in the creative, artistic realm, and maybe we could watch that and come back with Becky. And we were going to open it up at the also after that for other people who would like to just share maybe a prayer or a thought around solstice. So, but yeah, let's go to the video. And I want to thank Pamela, who's been quiet, who's been helping, behind the scenes today to do some of the technical stuff. So we want to honor and acknowledge Pamela. So.
Yes, we definitely want to acknowledge Pamela. And I want to give you all the option of dancing to this video or not, whatever you feel like. If you need to get up and move, we have movements to these dances that bring us together in ritual. And ritual is a basic human need to come together and all do the same thing. So dance your dance, sit, stand, camera on, camera off, whatever you want to do. We have 4 movements with our hands that create ritual and bring us together as one. The first movement is to create a circle just by putting the tips of our fingers together out in front of us in a circular way, bringing the circle real and into our body. Okay, so here's my circle. I can raise it above my head. I can turn it to either side. And I ask you all to join this in the first movement, and you'll see me briefly in the video change movements. And the next movement is actually to bring that circle into a ball and bring it to our solar plexus and our heart. And And remember when you're listening to this music and when you're doing these movements, that our heart is actually in the form of spirals. And those spirals that are physically our heart pull in the energy all around us to create a vortex. And this is how we listen with our heart, and we speak from our heart, and we turn the energy all around us in a quantum way to the reality that we experience coming from our heart and the combination of our head and our heart. So we bring this ball of wholeness to our solar plexus in the second movement. And then in the third movement, we reach out, we open our arms to the galaxies. We're now multi-universal, multi-dimensional beings. And we gather that energy and we bring it into our heart. So the third movement of the dance brings the energy of all the galaxies into our heart, into the spiraling spheres of our heart, so that we may live from our heart. Okay, and then the fourth movement actually pulls down the energy from all the galaxies, pulls it down and again into our heart, into our solar plexus, so that we are coming together as more people than just one of us to create this experience of energy that we transform in this dance and in this video that we will now experience when Pamela's ready to do that.
We gather in circles so all are equals. In this dance, we set the circle free to spiral. Curvature is spiral, rotating on axis, increasing distance from center in concentric rings. Smoke spirals with the spirits in the fire, speaking to us in ways felt fully with knowing recognition, making places sacred and holding space for us to transform as we dance with the spirals in life. Direction of motion changes with spirals of longing, ascends in the gentle gradations of the vines, curving, twisting, and winding around and around, fixed as well as growing points and curves, coiling and curling with the power of corkscrews. Spiraling spirits dance in rainbows with tiny drops of love for all life, seeding the forest with kaleidoscopic snail trails and shells reaching out to sea as we become the ocean in a single drop of water. The eye of a glass marble rolling into centeredness and solitude for refuge and presence. Branches of trees, leaves, pine cones, ferns, sunflowers, and seeds of renewal. our soul in eternity and imminent presence. Vortex tunnels of light and dark, then both and neither. Fractals opening to spirituality. Outer to inner and back to center, extending in curves and turns. Twisting and gyrating, each series of loops on a zigzag course to forever. Journey to authenticity on a spiral path as the view gets wider and timeless. Radial ropes of energy moving in cycles, circles, waves, and rhythms return to silence in the middle of the spiral, centering into the self. Knowing in direct experience, awakening soul, beauty, and joy in dynamic intensity, enabling change as power.
Thank you all for joining.
Wow. Next level, Gail.
Thank you. Love to dance in community. Love to dance with all of you. And now I'm happy to wrap things up with fire. You know, we started with protection, and now we ask Becky if she has a fire, or Lenny if he has a fire in his house. If anyone has a fire that they can bring into view, and just move their camera close to their fire and bring us into that elemental energy of the fire, or speak with us about the fire at this time. Close out with the purification.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Gail. I don't know if everybody else could hear the music, but I couldn't hear any music. Anyway,
I hope so. I hope
No,
everyone could hear me.
I could hear it. And before we start, to Becky, if you could just tell us where you are and territory, and thank you so much. Really glad to see you today. Thank you.
thank you very much. Yeah, I'm in the Great Lakes region in Canada, and live on an island, and our lake is finally beginning to freeze a little bit. In years past, we had a road that we could drive across the ice. This year we're still on a boat, and we got a good strong boat, so that's a good thing. Yeah, little place called Georgina Island. And I'm here in my little snug straw bale house. I lit my stove earlier, but I had to sleep for a while, and so I just threw a couple of logs on there. Hopefully they'll be catching now. So yeah, so it's nice to be with you and marking this Solstice Day. These days are so significant that all cultures celebrate them in some way. And I heard a Cree grandmother say, like, this is when we acknowledge that our grandfather is farthest away from us, the sun, and so we light a fire to bring him, to remember him and ask him to come back closer. And so after today, he'll begin to step closer and closer to us for the next 6 months until he's a blazing presence in the sky again. And we give thanks for those gifts of the grandfather that are possible because of his light and his warmth, that play a part in along with the water and the earth to grow our life around us, the trees and the plants and the animals and all the other people. So we give thanks, and we try to keep the fire lit for grandfather as the temperatures drop. We get the warmth in our homes, in our families. Best I can do is show you my wood stove and pick up my computer and take it over there. So that's what I'll do.
While you're doing that, I see he has his new kitty in his lap, and there's another source of warmth. Our little creatures that come and join us and snuggle with us and keep us warm. Pamela, if you want to pin SD and his little kitty, I think his name is Yeti, a little black kitty, and maybe Lenny will show us his fire. Can you open your stove, Lenny, and add your fire and see if we can. Oh, that's beautiful, Becky. That's a beautiful fire to bring in with us today. Yeah, oh, it's very sweet flames, very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all for bringing the fire and the creatures. Mm. Oh, another beautiful fire coming in to join us. Thank you, Lenny. Mm. Beautiful fire. The hearth, center of our home, our heart.
So I want to also mention I had gotten a message from grandmother Patricia from Brazil, and she's also in ceremony today. She was going to try to join us with a group of women who are maybe going to share a song, part of their ceremony. I haven't heard from her in like a half hour, so I suspect they might have lost reception, but we're working on getting her a Wi-Fi pod down there in Brazil. It makes communication much easier. So at this point, I wanted to kind of just give the opportunity to open it up. I know there's a few people that are joining us. I want to also send blessings to our sister Sylvia. I know she's gone through challenges in her own way. I know many of us have gone through challenges, whether it's hurricanes or family members or our own health and stuff. But I wanted to go back to Gail and SD, and they'd like to share a little bit more, but just kind of open it up if folks had anything else they would like to share. I do have a song I wanted to share before we conclude for today, but again, we just wanted to make sure that we created spaces to stay on point about winter solstice if people want to offer a prayer or something. So with that, I'll go back to Grandmother Gail and SD.
Thank you, Michael. It's beautiful to be able to honor the earth energies and focus on the earth energies as community, the way we've done here today. So I'm just grateful to all of you for creating this frequency and this vibration in the quantum way that brings us all together as one. And yeah, Ursula anyway sees the sun as feminine, and that's, we talk about the daughter of the sun being part of our myth that brings fire to the peoples. So I don't know if that's something SD wants to elaborate on. I'll defer to him now if he wants to expound on that, whatever he wants to share. Or if he wants to share kitty cat, which you'll need to unmute, SD, we can't hear you, or the kitty cat. We'd love to hear the kitty cat's voice too. We see, but we don't hear you guys.
And Uncle, not to interrupt, Uncle from Greenland, Angangak just sent a message that even though he can't get online, he sends his prayers and blessings to all of us and to those who are watching the video maybe after the solstice today.
Look at that new light there with SD. Look at that new kitty cat light.
This is Yeti. and Tigray is running around somewhere. These are my two new roommates. They're really a lot of fun. And I had a dream about them before they came to me. So we call Wesa in Cherokee. Wesa. So once again, it's good that we make a circle on the time of the solstice, that we might put ourselves in balance, that we send out a prayer to this day, on this day, that there be more peace and love in this world, in the coming cycle, that there will be more healing. And can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And,
Well, SD, I think we have another ancestor here.
Okay.
Meow. She's more of a panther. She's very independent.
Yeah. This one's a snuggle bug.
Well, we just got a message from Patricia in Brazil, and she just said minutes ago there's been amazing thunders and rains.
You know what you're gonna have?
Coming right now. So nice that we're all still very much connected.
Mm-hmm.
So did anyone else want to share a brief word or a thought? I know we have a closing song. I know that we wanted to have SD share, but does anyone else have anything they wanted to share as far as a prayer or a thought around solstice today?
I would like to offer greetings and blessings from the Hopewell ancestral lands. I am currently in a skilled nursing facility in between the Great Circle and the Octagon mounds of the Hopewell people on what is now a World Heritage Site. Um, and I also want to bring greetings to SD and Yeti from Grindel the Dralicorn, who seems to be a relative of the felines. Um, so much gratitude to be in this circle with each and all of you. And I was able to share this with the nurse Silver, who's on duty today, and she was very excited to learn about this movement. So her daughters are a quarter Ojibwe through their father. So thank you, everyone, and much love and solstice blessings.
Right.
Beautiful. Thank you so
And I know they couldn't be here today. Just wanted to also acknowledge our invitation that was sent out to others who are part of our extended community and council. We did extend an invitation to Chief Dwayne Perry in the New York area, Lenape, and also to our brother Ukwala, our Havasupai relative from the inside heart of the Grand Canyon, and others who have participated and showed up at this council. I also want to really thank also Gail, grandmother Gail, and SD, who have been really consistent, helping to hold space weekly for the grandmother and the Wisdom Council. And it feels like a very optimistic year as we have more communication with people, and the circle continues to grow, the sacred hoop continues to mend. And I do also want to thank Pamela, who's really been helping a lot, I know, with Gail and with today's meeting. And I'm just looking at the list. I see Cynthia. Just wanted to make sure if anyone else wanted to say anything, and then I was just going to share a brief song, which will move us probably towards the conclusion of our online gathering today for winter solstice.
So I'd like to just share a little song of about the this time. I at the solstices and equinoxes, I like to offer prayers for the coming. And in 3 months, it'll be the spring equinox, thinking toward that time that I have a good and positive thoughts for this circle, for all, each of us being a point in the circle, and each point having a family of others, and those others have families, and send out good thoughts, prayers, blessings through all these channels to all the world. And I just sing a little song and to send that out. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yo. Way nay yo. Yana hey yana, way yana hey yo. Way yana hey yana hey yo. Hey yo. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yo. Way nay yo. Yana hey yana, way yana hey yo. Way yana hey yana hey yo. Hey yo. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yaho, way nay yo. Way nay nay yo. Way nay yo. Yana hey yana, way yana hey yo. Way yana hey yana hey yo. Hey yo.
Oh, so I'd like to just share a brief song. One planet is turning, circle on her path around the sun. Earth Mother is calling. her children home. Light is returning, even though it seems like the darkest hour. No one can hold back the dawn. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep the flame of hope alive. Make safe our journey through the storm. One planet is turning, circle on her path around the sun. Earth Mother is calling her children home. Light is returning, even though this is the longest night. No one can hold back the dawn. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep that flame of hope alive. Make safe our journey through the storm.
Spirit of planting seeds that may sleep for a while and may germinate in the warmth of our hearts through the winter, through the dark nights, through the inner work that we all can do together, coming together in community, joining in songs and dance once a month, checking in on each other as community, joining as often as we need to, being one family here in circle. And I do have an offering of an exit video that embraces AI and the younger generations, which is a little different, and it's a plea from the dream world for us to dance the transformation for renewal and stop the shaming that so many of us have endured. So brace yourselves. Stay until again before we turn on these images, in case you don't want to stay through them. That's acceptable too. It's a choice. It's AI images. It's very intense, and it's a song that comes from the dream world, asking us to connect with the elements, ride the coattails of the Black Lives Matter movement, and create change and dance this transformation through the winter. So let's say our until agains, and then Pamela will play that video, and you can all stay or do what you need to. If everyone's ready to close, we'll close with these connections to the elements and dance of transformation seeds.
And looking forward, I know a lot of conversation came up about decolonizing also about sovereignty, and also about councils. And, I know, Beck, we talked about kinship ways and things. So I know that there's a lot more to come besides our weekly grandmother and wisdom council. So just deep gratitude today. Cold, wet, and cloudy, but it's nice that we keep our sacred fire going and the returning of the light. So
Until again.
until again.
And again.
Do I still feel the pain? Will we ever break the shame? Break the shame in the heart of the earth. Will we ever break the shame? Break the shame. Stop the shaming, break the shame, break the shame. Stop the shaming, break the shame, break the shame. Dance this transformation on the wings of the water, with helpful spirits of the land, with the rain, with the wind, with the earth, with the fire in our heart. Stop the shaming, break the shame, break the shame. Stop the shaming, break the shame, break the shame. Standing in the crossroads of the BLM matters. Riding on the coattails as the world around us shatters. Suicide, missing, murder.
you.